Alright, so here we are. One final race remaining between me and the 50 gold reward. So, I left this final cup race for the last one, PR 86.4, more so that I can run the final race or final set of races in green. Just because. No other reason. Anyway, it's gonna be Hockenheim night race Grand Prix circuit. 7 laps at Grand Prix, so it's not a short one by any means. Decent length. So let's jump in and collect that 50 gold. So I am really not expecting much of resistance from this grid, especially with the car running in full strength, more or less. Of course, this one race will definitely put the car in red, but that's alright. And I actually have yet to run through the actual bonus series this car is featured in. I have not won a single race in that particular bonus series. In fact, I have many bonus and main career series races that I have not done yet. Partially because they just keep throwing these cars your way with every update, and there's just simply not enough time in a day for me to make my way through the regular career mode races. In fact, the ones that I find more interesting to do are the, what do you call that, the exclusive series races, just simply because with a fully upgraded car, things are just a little bit more, I don't know, interesting, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word to describe what I'm trying to say. What is it about exclusive series races that make it interesting? Number one, the car has the twice the service. I guess you can run in green for double the length, so when you're on a roll, so to speak, you can run twice as many races before having to put the car in for service. And some races are just, I don't know, just fine. I find that genuinely more interesting. Maybe it is the fact that everybody's running more or less fully upgraded car. So perhaps it's a little bit more of a even playing field. So yes, of course, that means you have to pay the entry fee of upgrading your car all the way. Some of those cars, I'm not going to say I have upgraded every single one of my cars, far from it. I have some really low-end cars that I've recently fully upgraded, like the cheapo NASCARs. Why did I upgrade those? The Ford and the Chevy SS. Why did I upgrade those fully? I don't remember why. I think it was more the question of why not. I mean, that's like literally like 1 or 2 gold. And I think, I cannot remember if I finished I know I finished the what is that called? The NASCAR Talent Tour, which is the one at the very beginning of the NASCAR series. That is featuring the Chevy SS, the cheaper one of the two, or one of the many, I should say. And of course, what's the other one? Pre-season Rumble. I think that's the one that features the Ford. once again the cheap NASCAR. So of course they have a little bit more limited top speed, and just overall the car itself does not perform nearly as well. But one huge benefit those two cars have over other cars, really most cars in the entire game, is that they have hardly any service time. Like the Ford one takes a minute to service. So that car, I don't think I will ever run in red. It simply does not make any sense. And same goes for Chevy, except that one has like a 10-minute service time, which still, is nothing. So if you alternate between those two, you can do plenty of races. I know it's just NASCAR races going in oval circuit over and over and over, but it does have that secret weapon, drifting too. But you can do it here too, as you can see. That was a terrible job at drifting. That was a little better. Anyway, what's my point? Oh, fully upgraded cars. So I have some cheapo cars that I have recently fully upgraded because, I just haven't upgraded too many cars all the way, and that is how you accumulate your gold. Don't spend. If you spend everything that you get, it's simple math. You just are not gonna, build up anything. So now, so how to increase the amount of gold that you gain? Let's see, check in every day. Number one, that would be a good, easy way to, especially at the end of the month, usually they have some really large pot of gold for just checking in. For December, I think it was 90 gold. Well, if you're not, if you just started out, then you'd have gotten 30 gold, I think. But if you have achieved elite driver status, whatever that means, I actually don't know what gets you to that, what gets you to qualify for that particular status. But both of my accounts are that status, so just for checking in every day, we got 60 extra, which means we got 90 gold. So that's not bad for really hardly any effort put into it. So that's important, checking in every day. And let's see, try to run, try to win as many cars as you can with the least amount of gold or any resource put in. Now, some of the events, it's just impossible to win without investing gold into upgrades, or to skip, depending on how naughty these monkeys wants to be. But if you can win without spending gold, certainly, then you can think of that as a, free car. Like you end up paying for it with your time. So it's a matter of balancing what's your time worth to you, versus how much you're willing to spend in terms of in-game currency or like real world money. That's something to consider. Another fairly consistent way you can earn gold, of course, team events. Now if you run in a large team, let's say a team of 20 racers, obviously any prize that you guys win as a team will be divided up into however many racers there are, which means if you win, say, 500 gold as a team, and then that gets divided into 20, 20 ways. It's really not that much. I mean, it's better than nothing, but it's certainly not enough to, let's say, justify the amount of effort you have to put in. I mean, only way you can really run those, like current event right now is the Chevy distance event. If you run that as a team and try to get somewhere, you really have to do it because you love racing, and not because you're trying to win gold, because there are better ways to win the same amount of gold, if not more, for the amount of time that you will have to put in. So you have to choose the events, team events, carefully, and what size of the team that you're gonna run in. So when they have had that, what was it, Autocross Annihilation, I think, that one rewarded 300 gold for top 1,000 teams. So pretty much anything below like rank, I want to say like 300, 400s, were almost entirely people running in solo. Meaning if your team wins enough to land top 1,000, that means you just won 300 gold, just all to yourself, which is not bad. Or if you ran, I think if you landed top 500, you got 500 gold. So yeah, that's not bad. I mean, that does make any other team efforts, I think, hardly a team when you're running by yourself, right? So yeah, so those events definitely are good, and of course when you're trying to land with the top 1,000 or top 300, top 500, I should say, you will most likely level up a few times too, or twice or 3 times, just by running that little, like 12-second autocross. That's not bad at all. That is another pretty reliable way to win gold. And then of course weekly time trial tournaments. If you land on top 10%, I think that's called rank C, you get 50 gold. And if you can pull that off every week, that is 50 free gold that you get. I should finish the race now. It's the last lap. I just, while I was yapping, talking, wasn't paying attention to the lap count there. Anyway, that does it for the 50 gold and some racing dollars. Anyways, back to the gold strategy. So, as I was saying, weekly time tournament, rank C, top 10%. You don't have to have your car fully upgraded. As long as you have a reasonable amount of upgrades on your car, if you race the line perfectly, you should be able to reach top 10% if you have one of the faster cars featured in each series, or each stages, I think is what they call that. So that is, not having fully upgraded car is not an excuse to not run weekly time tournament, guys. Don't be discouraged. Do it. It's not a waste of time. I definitely would say it is one of the best ways to improve your driving, improve your racing, and a very quick way to accumulate your gold. So that is one thing, or another means of gaining gold or your resources, in-game resources. So what else? And if you manage to land rank B, top 5%, then you get 100 gold. So there you go. And you do that for 4 weeks in a month, you get 400 gold. That's not too bad. Anyway, we got here 50 gold, finally 100% completion. So these type of things also helps. And completed. All right. Was it any more entertaining the second time around? I know this is a fun car to drive. I haven't, as I said, since I didn't race this car in the bonus series at all, I've forgotten about how well this car drives. But even then, towards the end, some of those races gets really long. But hey, at least it was more fun car to race. So there you go, all done. And most likely, I'm assuming the gauntlet will come on in a couple of hours, I'd assume, since I had a couple hours left before I finished that last race. So maybe I'll see you guys there. So run your team races smart. Don't just run every single one. I mean, if you have time to, then and you enjoy it, then by all means go for it. But there are ones that makes more sense to run than others. And let's see, weekly time trials, special events. If you can win with least amount of gold or resources put in, that's another way to do it. And running with less number of upgrades put in. I've been doing a few series special events like that, and one of the things that I found out, at least for myself, is you actually learn to drive better by using less number of resources put into your car, and then once you put more in, you just simply improve on it. So just simply slapping on more upgrades does not necessarily help you become a better racer. So that's something that it's one of those things I always knew back in the back of my head, but it's kind of a fast way out if you're stuck with a particular goal. You just slap on some upgrades, spend your gold, and you move on. But if you have time, of course, that's always the key, isn't it? We don't have infinite amount of time. We have work to do, we have family duties, and things outside of this mobile game. Really, you don't want it to take over your life. And say, for example, I missed out actually on that Formula E car. If you guys notice what happened to I didn't put any gold on that car, and once I realized the amount of time I had left to run the remainder of the events, and it just was not going to be worth it for me. And everybody, when I was running that race, everybody around me, as in my house, was complaining about the noise of the car. I have never heard anybody complain about the noise of the car until that Formula E car. They all wondered, is that a cat crying? What's going on? What are you watching on your phone? So I didn't want to torture anybody beyond what they have to. Yes, I could have put on my headphone and do it, but anyway, so that concludes this series. Hope you guys got to have fun, most of all. And if you won the car, even more power to you. If you won 50 extra or 80 extra gold, all good, right? So we'll see you in the next video series. And looks like I got some Racing Dollar ads to watch, if I really want to. All right, take care, guys.